Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Friday, January 20th, 2012. And we have our first real snow threat for the year of 2012 approaching the northern mid-Atlantic. And this snow threat actually could produce quite a few inches of snow for the interior and a little bit of snow for the immediate coast. So let's take a look at the forecast and what's going on right now. Right now we have temperatures falling through the teens, 20s, and 30s as a cold front is exiting off the New Jersey coast. This cold front did produce a little bit of snow last night, a few snow showers, and now that it's exiting off the coast, temperatures continue to fall. Earlier on this morning, let's say around 4 or 5 a.m., temperatures were actually in the upper 30s to lower 40s over southern New Jersey and in the mid to upper 30s over the northern coast of Connecticut and much of Long Island. But as you can see, as that cold air is invading, temperatures are falling off. And for this afternoon, I don't expect temperatures to be moving all that much, basically in the upper 20s to lower 30s over the interior and lower to mid 30s along the coast. So a rather chilly day is going to be expected for the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. The good news is that the winds aren't going to be that strong. They'll be anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour, so a wind chill in the 20s can be expected, but not a strong wind like 20 or 30 miles per hour. So there's a little bit of a saving grace there. Now let's talk about our little snow threat. Let's take a look at the radar. Now, you can see over the northern mid-Atlantic, we are high and dry. We have clearing skies. Here's our cold front exiting off the coast. We have a little bit of lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. And then here is our new storm. Now, this disturbance is not going to be all that strong. The key factor here is that warm air that is basically situated over the southeast and southern plains and Mississippi River Valley is going to try to drive up and over the cold air that's in place over the northern mid-Atlantic. That's what this is being produced by, warm air moving over this Arctic air. Now, for the most part, most locations are going to moderate and temperatures are going to rise above freezing, and this snow is going to change over to rain. However, if you're in the interior, like northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, you're going to stay all snow because you'll just be cold enough to keep the precipitation as frozen. So let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. I think we get a better view here of what's happening. See our disturbance moving across, and this disturbance isn't all that strong. Notice that with the majority of our major storms, you see a nice comma shape formation in the cloud pattern and an intense low pressure system. This is nothing like that. This is a weak to moderately strong low pressure system that's going to quickly track through the northern plains, through the Ohio River Valley and Tennessee River Valley, and across the mid-Atlantic into the Atlantic. It's not going to become very strong. What's driving this whole storm is this warm air. Now, when we take a look at the upper level winds, let's go low level winds, you can see some of those winds coming up from the southwest, and in the mid-level winds, you see even more impressively with winds trying to drive out of the southern plains and move up the coast, and we're seeing the same thing over the southeast. These winds are going to shift to the southwest as our low pressure system intensifies just a little bit and drive this warm air over this cold dome of air, and that is what's going to produce most of our snow. Now, I'm going to bring up the NAM model guidance. So this is the most aggressive model guidance out of all of them, and I'm using it to make a point. As we move through the forecast by this afternoon, high and dry, we are very cold. Everything's fine. Temperatures are below freezing for the most part, clearly supportive for, at least initially, a snow threat. However, as we move towards this evening and our precipitation starts to approach, look what happens to our 850 millibar line. It's already steadily pushing north because this is driven by warm air. Now, because of this fast, I guess you call it isotropic lifting event, I'm a little hesitant to go with heavy snowfall totals here. I know that some locations, even the National Weather Service, is trying to go with 3 to 5 inches or 2 to 4 inches for the New York City metropolitan area. I have some doubts on this, and the reason why is because in my experience with these type of events, especially when you have an easterly wind at the coastline, the changeover to rain is a little bit faster than what guidance suggests. And notice what's happening here is that the NAM model guidance is probably the coldest model guidance out of all of the other models that I have. And more importantly, it's actually colder than the observations. So when you take that into account, you have to be a little hesitant about the intensity of the snowfall. And the reason why is because this whole, let's say, forecast of heavy precipitation shown by the NAM model guidance is driven by the contrast between cold temperatures and warm temperatures. But if the model guidance is already too cold to begin with, based on not only my observations but the National Weather Service's observations, then you have to take into account that this might be overdone, because then the gradient between the cold and warm air isn't as impressive as what the NAM suggests. In fact, the European model guidance is nowhere near as intense as far as precipitation. Another factor to consider are the strong winds at the mid-levels. This would suggest that this low pressure system is going to be moving rather quickly, and so will the precipitation shield. And the faster the precipitation shield moves, the less snow you'll get. Another factor to consider with this storm is the easterly wind, and this is going to be a big component for locations like northeastern Pennsylvania, the Poconos, and northwestern New Jersey. So what I'm expecting here based on the model guidance is a fast-moving yet dynamic low-pressure system that will produce periods of light to moderate snow at the onset, so bursts of moderate to heavy snow at times, especially over the interior, and a changeover to rain along the immediate coast as that warm air really builds in. So let's take a look at my forecast. This is the forecast that's on NYNJPA Weather, this snow map. Now, along the southern New Jersey coast, let's say like Atlantic City, Ocean City, Wildwood, much of southwestern New Jersey, I'm only expecting to trace to maybe an inch of snow at most. The reason why is that I think the warm air is going to invade these locations rather quickly and change the snow over to rain early tomorrow morning, let's say around 3-4 a.m. A little bit further to the north, we're talking about much of southeastern Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia metropolitan area, central New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, Long Island, and extreme coastal locations in Connecticut. I'm looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow, a little bit of sleet mixed in there too, and then change over to rain. I expect the snow to start around midnight, continuing on through 8 a.m., and then a change over between 6 and 9 a.m. to rain over these locations and ending altogether by noon. So that's going to limit the snowfall amount here to 1 to 3 inches. Most locations I think will be around 1 or 2 inches. So I think that 3-inch snowfall amount is going to be more isolated than some may think. Now as we move a little bit further into the interior, this is where that easterly wind is going to get pretty interesting, because that easterly wind is going to force moisture up along the Appalachian Mountains and over the interior. For much of Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, much of northwestern New Jersey, and portions of northeastern Pennsylvania like Allentown and Bethlehem, I'm expecting anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow, localized amounts to 6 inches, and I stress the word localized. I think most locations can expect a heavy wet 2 to 4 inches of snow with this fast-moving low pressure. All snow, by the way, perhaps a little bit of sleet mixed in at times, but most locations can expect all snow with this storm. And as we move further into the interior, we're talking about highest elevations of Scranton and Wilkes-Barre, Back Mountain, Hazleton. These locations are going to have the best potential to see the heaviest snow because they have the best dynamics involved, and they have the added enhancement of that easterly wind lifting up against the Appalachian Mountains. So what I'm expecting is snowfall anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in general, localized amounts up to 8 inches, and I stress the word localized. I don't think this is going to be a widespread 8-inch event, but a few locations could see a heavy burst of snow that could push you up to that 8-inch amount. And I think this is all snow. It's going to be a heavy wet snow, so be careful when shoveling and use some caution after the snow leaves, because some of the water in the snow is going to refreeze and create some black ice problems. So that's the snowfall forecast I'm expecting with this low pressure system. By tomorrow evening, that low pressure system is gone. High pressure is taking control. High pressure will be in control for the rest of the weekend. Warmer conditions will be underway as our high pressure system departs and southerly winds take control. Temperatures will rebound into the 40s. And for the most part on Monday, dry conditions until Monday evening when we get a weaker cold front move through with a few scattered showers. Nothing significant though, as we remain on the warm side of this weather pattern, keeping us in pretty much near normal with temperatures in the upper 30s to mid 40s. There is potential that we could actually touch 50 degrees over southern New Jersey depending on the position of this trough. If it's a little bit further to the west, we could actually get some warmer air built in here, and that would allow temperatures to push into the 50s rather than the 40s. So that is the forecast discussion for today. Use some caution with this storm. It's our first storm, and with the wet snow, it's going to reduce visibility pretty easily, and it will cause some slick road conditions. So use some caution tomorrow morning. I will have live coverage of this storm starting about 8:30 p.m. tonight on through midnight, and then again from 6 a.m. on through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning for the latest on this winter storm. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day and stay safe out there.